check out what is back in the shop. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a look at where the frame broke. Well, almost 1 month after I absolutely KO'd the turn one wall in my 410 at the Tulare ThunderBowl for the 2022 Peter Murphy Classic, that car that we damaged severely, got fixed, is now back in the shop here in Southern Oregon, and we're ready to put it back together. And if I'm being honest, it's actually been in the shop now for probably the last 2.5 weeks. We got it back super quickly, just completely have not had any time to work on it. You can see this is the bar that they replaced right there, welded it in, and honestly this thing looks good as new. We took it to Todd Zeitler, who is here in town. He is like our local go-to here in town for fixing sprint car frames. We dropped it off with him on that Sunday after the crash. We had it back by the end of the week, and if we needed to get back on track with that exact car, we would have had that opportunity. But now that this thing is back in the shop, it is kind of like our next project, and since it's already been together one time before, the process should go much quicker. But excited to get this thing back together. It was a good car. It only had 7-8 nights on it before I smoked the wall, and now that that bar is replaced, it's ready to get back on track and continue to kind of show the speed that it had. It is Wednesday at 10:49 a.m., June 15th to be exact, and we have this car behind me here, which is supposed to be my backup car for the busy summer we have ahead of us, and it is still fairly apart. The last clip was a couple of days ago, and I kind of made it sound like we were gonna hit the ground running with it right then and there, and originally that was the plan, and I got the front axle and stuff all hooked up, but still have more work to do up there. But a fun fact about myself, I get distracted so easily, and if I'm not organized, I get off track. I end up doing side projects. I don't do what I'm supposed to be doing, and I start procrastinating, and that is my life, at least with working on race cars. But anyway, it is now Wednesday. I cannot put it off any longer. It's time to get serious and start getting this thing all put back together. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing in all by myself. So with all my procrastination, I figured we might as well now start with the hard part, get the rear end in the car, get the torque tube in, get the driveline in, and get it all connected and squared. If I did that, the rest of the 18T, putting it together, should be a cakewalk. So we got the driveline in, and we had to work on that snap ring. Okay, now is the most difficult part. Got this all in here. Let's see if we can get our snap ring, which I always like to tell you guys about. We'll see how long it takes us. It could be 1 or 2 tries. It could take 34 tries. The nice part is we don't have an engine in the car, so I can slide the torque tube way up, and I got all sorts of room. When the engine's in, this is much more difficult because you have that much room to play with. Here we go. I think I got it. Got it. So that is all officially complete. We can cross the snap ring off our list of things to do. So now moving forward, we had to connect the torque tube to the rear end. So you slide the back of it over the snout. You have your 6 titanium studs. You have your 6 nuts. You just tighten them up, you torque them, and now nothing is going anywhere. After that, we got our torsion bars in, got our torsion arms on, getting our bird cages on, because we're heading towards the direction of squaring this thing. So squaring a rear end is where you measure from the motor plate to the center of the axle, and on our car specifically, it has to measure 39 1/8 inches. So 39 1/8 is our magic number. Once we get the rear end to that spot, we first hook up our radius rods and make sure our bird cages are set properly, and then we bring our rear arms up and connect them and adjust as well if need be. Then the last thing we would hook up would be the Jacob's ladder, which you can see my dad doing here. Well, the rear end is in the car and square. You can see our rear arms are hooked up. Our radius rods are connected to the bird cages. Jacob's ladder is connected as well. So everything is moving right along. Just got it on our setup block so I can put our 2 rear stops on the car. With all the ups and downs we've had this season at THR, I feel like my dad and I have gotten really quick at squaring the rear end. Definitely didn't take too much time at all. I think next we're gonna move here to the front and make sure that all of our radius rods are the proper length and that the front end is square. And at the same time, I think my dad's gonna do some little stuff here in the cockpit. I'll be able to slap Nerfs on. And like earlier in the week, we have the All-Stars on the big TV for Ohio Speed Week. This night, they are currently at the Atomic Speedway, which they did not have on the 2021 schedule, so we did not get to race here. Does seem like an interesting racetrack. I've noticed on Flow, and then also a couple of other up-close shots. It seems like it races really fast and probably feels quick in the driver's seat. So definitely a racetrack I would love to turn some laps at and see how it goes. So we'll see who gets it done for night number 6 of Ohio Speed Week and continue to work on the other 18T. So now that we finished all the work in the rear, I wanted to double check myself and torque those arms and stops, mainly just so, 100% they don't fall off when I hit the track. So that is complete. We moved on to a couple of little projects. I got my front bumper on, got those side Nerfs on. My dad was working on all the fuel lines for the race car and getting that prepared because we wanted to put the tank on the car and then put the rear Nerf on, but we realized we had a problem. There was a hole punctured actually in the underside of our 18T shell, and we needed to take the bladder out so we could repair the tank.
Okay, so see, that's what I was worried about. See that? Feel that? That's what was poking your tank. So that's what I got to clean up. I got to shave that. See that? That would f***ing poke a hole in your tank.
Well, it's late. We were gonna put the tank on the car, and then my dad remembered that we punctured a hole in the shell. So sprint cars, it just appears that the fuel sits in this, which this is the outer shell, but it actually goes in this bladder. So this is the expensive part of it all.
These are made of aircraft material.
Yeah, very, very nice, super strong. So if you puncture a hole in this, it's junk, but that's good. The shell though,
I'm gonna patch it.
yeah, we're gonna patch it. So that sometimes can be difficult to get that bladder out because you're just trying to fit it through that. Actually, the holes, I think, from what I've heard, have gotten much bigger over the years. They used to be really, really small, but it can be difficult if you're by yourself with help. Like my dad was able to hold the shell and I was able to kind of fold it up and condense it. And then after a minute, get enough of it together to where it came straight out. So it's the next day. Here's a quick little update on our backup car. Dad and I got pretty far on it yesterday, but he had to bring some more parts to continue working today. So that'll all kind of be in the next video, and we're also gonna get it loaded upstairs in our trailer. Obviously, you never ever want to get it down, but if the situation goes that way, it'll be there and it'll be a resource for our team, especially for all these races. And then, once we're traveling to the Midwest, this is a necessity just because you never know what could happen on any given race night, and we want to be able to continue our trip if things go good or bad. But yeah, like I said, just waiting on a couple of things from my father, which he is bringing home now. Then we are gonna throw the body on it and take it out to our race trailer and get it upstairs. He also found something to fix the shell, so I'll be sharing that with you guys also too. Anyway, that is gonna wrap things up. I'm gonna go get this video posted so you guys know what the rest of our week looks like. Then we'll have another vlog kind of with our final preparations before we head to Cottage Grove, Grays Harbor, and Skagit this weekend for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then we have the Dirt Cup Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a $50,000 payday to the winner, which is what we will all be chasing. So we have just a little bit of time left to finish up everything, but my dad and I should be able to do so. I highly recommend, if you guys are gonna be in the area of Cottage Grove, Grays Harbor, or Skagit over these next 2 weeks, you need to come out and support the 410s. We need all the fan help that we can get. I'm sure they're gonna be packed, but we need all the support we can get at the track, and if you're not in the area, you need to watch live on Flow Racing. I will have a link to them at the top of the description. Head on over, purchase a subscription. It's $150 for the year, but it literally includes so many big events. I'm talking over 2,000 races on the daily. You can have it on all day long and be entertained, so make sure to check out Flow Racing, and if you purchase through our link, that supports our team at no extra cost to you. Also down in the description, I have a link to our merchandise store, so if you guys like to check out our THR gear and support us that way, it really, really helps. We will also have all that merchandise at the track for every event in 2022. Just come say hi, we'll have it all hung up at the back of the trailer. Anyway, time for me to get busy, and we will see you guys all in the next one. Deuces.